day when mercy reigns and never dies.
Well, hello and welcome again to Dearborn Heights, to my dining room table. Just a short devotion for you from the book of John chapter 4. John chapter 4 and verse 1. When therefore the Lord knew how the Pharisees had heard that Jesus made and baptized more disciples than John, though Jesus himself baptized not, but his disciples, he left Judea and departed again into Galilee. And he must needs go through Samaria. Then cometh he to a city of Samaria, which is called Sychar, near to the parcel of ground that Jacob gave to his son Joseph. Now Jacob's well was there. Jesus, therefore, being wearied with his journey, sat thus on the well, and it was about the 6th hour, or noon. There cometh a woman of Samaria to draw water. Jesus saith unto her, Give me to drink. So the woman at the well, a familiar passage to us, but I kind of want to go back, lay a little groundwork here, and draw out some a very specific phrase for you here today. Jesus had just been in Jerusalem. He had observed the Passover and was going from Jerusalem back to Galilee. So Jerusalem is in the south, Galilee is in the north, and in between is, you guessed it, Samaria. And most Jews would avoid Samaria. They were enemies, okay, the Samaritans, and a lot of that is well documented. And the story about the woman at the well is well documented. You've probably heard numerous Sunday school lessons, Bible studies, sermons preached on this passage of the woman at the well. But I want to draw out an interesting phrase here. It said he left Judea and departed again into Galilee, verse 4 of chapter 4, and he must needs go through Samaria. He must needs go through Samaria. He did something unusual. He went out of his way to minister to this woman at the well. He went out of his way. Usually a Jew would circumvent Samaria. There were easier ways to get from Jerusalem back to Galilee, but Jesus said he must needs go through Samaria. That to me is remarkable. He went out of his way. It reminds me of another episode in the life of Jesus. Remember Jairus' daughter? Jesus had come across the Sea of Galilee and had landed on the land, and a press of people were around him, and one of the leaders had come up to him and said, Hey, my daughter's dying. I know if you came, you could heal her. And so Jesus is following him to his house. There was a press of people around him. And if you recall, a woman that had an issue of blood, she had a disease, touched the hem of his garment. And Jesus stopped. Said, Who touched me? Of course, you'll recall with me, his disciples were kind of, Really? Jesus? We're shoulder to shoulder. We're bumping in. What do you mean, who touched you? Everybody's touching you. We're in a big crowd. Everybody's jostling for position. They want to get close to you. They want to see you. And you're saying, who touched me? And Jesus stopped and spoke to this woman, was kind to her. And of course, you know the story. By the time he was finished talking to her, people were saying, hey, don't bother the master. Don't bother the teacher. She's already dead. Of course, Jesus continues on to the house and raises her from the dead. But the point is, he stopped. He took time for this woman that had the disease, the issue of blood. Jesus, here in John chapter 4, took time to talk to the woman at the well. He went out of his way. Are we going out of our way? Are we taking time to stop and minister to those around us, to be kind, to share Christ, to fulfill needs, to be the church to those around us? Are we going out of our way? That's the challenge. That's the challenge to my heart. Hopefully it's the challenge to your heart today. John chapter 4. Keep looking up.
is a place where mercy